Welcome back to another episode of The 12th Man. It's Manchester United versus Liverpool in the Premier League. And this could be a bloodbath for Manchester United. But could there be redemption on the cards for Erik Ten Hag's men against the might of Jurgen Klopp? I'm joined tonight, but you know him from the top six. You know him from Never a Foul. It's man like Kaz back in Man United. And brilliant caller last week after Liverpool's game. JJ's here backing the Scousers in this one today. Gentlemen, how are you both?
Very good, very good. Tiny bit confident, tiny, but a little bit of hope goes a long way. I'll take it.
You take it, yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good, Terry. Thanks for having me on. I'm comfy. I mean, we're not the best start to the season, but no better game than to kickstart your season. So yeah, man.
To be bottom of the league, love that.
Mate, listen,
like I said, I like the fact you used hope, but great choice of words there, Kaz.
Yeah, that one there, JJ.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting night indeed. And I'll go to the away team first. I mean, you look at Man United and the current situation they're in. Do you have any fear at all coming to Old Trafford at this particular time?
In this vein of form, I wouldn't say fear, but there's definitely a bit of, obviously, Kaz has got hope they win. We've got, kind of assurances that we're going to win, but there's a bit of a slight, we're not coming in their normal circumstances. We've obviously got players out injured, not the best start to the season with the 2 draws. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, but I wouldn't call it fear. No, not at all, Terry. Man.
I get that. See, I get that. And I can't imagine why a Liverpool fan would have any fear going into this game. I suppose, Kaz, though, the only thing that maybe they should look at is, if they were to drop points against this Man United team, the worst in living memory for most Man United fans. I mean, how big an L would that be for Liverpool?
I'm telling you now, if you drop, I thought you're gonna drop points. I reckon we get a result. Honestly, I'm being dead serious. Like I reckon we can get a result due to your injuries and also due to Angry Carroll having that red card, having a tantrum against Anderson, man. Like obviously that headbutt, man. I hope Anderson's all right, man. But it seemed like a nasty headbutt, don't you think, JJ? But on that note, I think if you do drop points, I know it's only 3 games in, but that's a lot of points to claw back up on City. If it is a draw and City win, that's 6 points to claw back. That's a big 6 points to claw back. And how many draws did you get last season, by the way? Like, I think you've already, was it only twice or a few times? And then you're already doing that? So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it might get a lot worse. It might get a lot worse than you think this season.
Kaz, you're right. In the greater context, it could get worse. As in, we're going to have a lot of points to go and catch up City. But in regards to the actual game and where we finish in the table, we're still going to finish ahead of you. We're still going to be probably there or thereabouts.
What a trophy, bro! What a trophy, bro! You're gonna. The thing is, by the end of the day, JJ. No, but we can't talk about the game.
Let's want to talk about.
We can't talk about the game.
You can't really talk about trophies with a United team at the moment.
You're talking about finishing above us. You want to talk about the game, but then you're talking about finishing above us. So what now?
So what we're saying,
it's not about the game, then, is it?
For this season, you're right in terms of City. But what we're talking about, you guys fighting relegation or getting to top 4? You guys are far from that. You guys are far from that. We're talking about the game. So in regards to the game,
there's no about the game. I'm saying, but we're talking about the game because I feel like you're gonna drop points. If you're gonna drop points against us, JJ, I'm not being funny. You might as well kiss your. I'm gonna say it here right now. You might as well kiss the title goodbye already. And I'm not joking. You might as well kiss you. I know second's not a trophy, but to draw against us or lose against us, that's shocking, bro. That's a new low. That's a new low.
I'm a realist. I'll go and tell you. Expecting City to go and drop 5 points, without Liverpool dropping other points, yes, of course. But in terms of Liverpool still finishing very, very high up in
that's fine with me, my guy. What a trophy.
And trumping anything what United do or anyone else anyone else in the Prem does. Come on, let's just be serious. I mean, you're talking from a standpoint of you're so low anyway. It's like even if you lose, does it make a difference? Not really. That hope of kind of getting that embarrassment over the Scousers, I get it. It's all right, Kaz.
But logically, we're actually going off the game as well. Yeah, call me deluded, whatever you want to do. It's just that as a Man United fan, and the Liverpool, I feel like we can go in this game with a little bit of hope. It might not even go ahead, to be fair, as far as we know. But if the game is to go ahead, I reckon if he selects the right personnel and he plays the kind of correct tactic, I don't think we're going to play football against because when I say about personnel, I'm talking about not sure, I'm not Maguire, shoring that up kind of a little bit. The only thing that worries me is the DM situation, who he might select there. But at the same time, I reckon Malacia, and if he does start a different defender as well, maybe even Martina, I don't know. because you ain't got a big striker. No angry Carroll in the ranks. So
Where does-
your
where's
height's
the
missing.
hope come- Where's the hope though? Look, everyone knows
It's-
that like, where's the hope come from, bruv?
I feel like it's from the reports. Maguire's getting dropped for one. Shaw's not going to get a game either. On top of that, it has to click at some point against Man United. At some point, something will happen, a little spark, because it is a derby at the end of the day. Anything could just change up with a click of a thing. I get it. Previous years, you smashed us big time, like 9-0 in aggregate and whatnot. But this time around, I reckon if he selects the correct personnel in what our fans believe which should be a back four or back five or anything like that, as long as you lock up Salah, I reckon you could do bits. But the only issue with me is now, there's only one worry, is Diaz against Dalot. That's all I can really say on that part, is the Dalot situation, because your midfield is lacking a little bit. I'm not worried about a Hendo and who else is there?
I mean, there's Hendo,
Milner. And Milner. A Hendo and Milner. The only thing, yeah, you got Fabinho, though, but he hasn't had Fabinho ain't had the great start of the season. Maybe it starts against United, but yeah, again, he's coming off form, just like our players off form. You got draws though at the end of the day, respectively. Palace showed what you can do if you just sit back, counter with speed and everything going forward. But that could be Marcel, Sancho, and Rashford, or Garnacho, or whoever it might be, because your defenders will go higher. Robertson ain't in great form either. Shimikas he's getting to grips. I do rate the boy. So on that note, it just shows us that you ain't got no creativity in that midfield. The legs can't be there forever either for pressing. Hendo, Milner, they will have to come off eventually. Milner typically plays good against us, but that's why I'm getting that little bit of hope that maybe there can be also a result against Liverpool, because anything can happen.
All right, quick one, Kaz. As you said, were you shook up of Norgard and De Silva during the game?
Look,
you played Ericsson DM, and apparently that was supposed to be a revolutionary tactic by 10 months, Erik 10 months, that apparently was supposed to go and open up the game. I mean, surely you saw what happened in that game. And I'm telling you now, if we're talking about pressing numbers, Liverpool's pressing numbers, even in those two draws, we're still better than Brentford's. I
can also provide. Look, the thing is.
So for me, and to then go and actually say that actually Ten Hag, this manager, that, do you know what I mean? He's got this philosophy, he's going to embed this style of playing to United, to go away from that 2 games into the season, surely not. Kaz.
Nah, something clicks. In every company he goes
away
to,
from that, if he goes away from philosophy, he's the same as Solskjaer, he's the same as Van Gaal, the same as Mourinho, he's the same as anyone else, because he's going away from what he identifies as. That is his identity as a manager. To go away from that is mad, Kaz.
But people can change and play to their strengths. The managers do that, so you don't need to try and be patronising on that part. But at the same time,
yes. Tweak to strengths, tweak things to go and add strength to a team. Yes, you're not talking about tweaking. You're talking about sitting in a low block like.
Yeah, but sometimes it might have to happen. It might have to happen. It might have to happen.
But will your manager, what the type of manager do you have? Would you think he'd actually go and do that and change his identity?
The thing is,
I know the top managers won't, and he's a top manager. I'm going off that what your fans go and say. Top manager going to change the identity of United.
Things will click with Ten Hag, with every team. If you go look at other former colleagues or players that have been under him, he keeps doing repetition until it gets into their heads. Yes, we ran 4 kilometers less than Brentford, but then he punished them in that sense to go run the exact same amount. So that's why there could be a bounce from that part, because I guarantee these players are going to run against Liverpool. They will run and press as well.
And guess what? And I rate that. And from a manager's perspective, I rate that. The fact that he's gone and had his identity, he's going to play a certain way, in that he made the players run the 4K that they didn't run in the game. All that type of stuff is great. But you're just emphasizing my point. He's not going to differ and change away from his tactic. You're not going to go and sit back like a Palace. You haven't got the ability to sit back like a Palace. You haven't, because it's not something embedded in your identity. To be fair, United hasn't got an identity. So right now, he's got to force that, and he's going to keep playing that way until, like you said, it clicks. But right now about this game, it's not going to go and click. So you're
telling me it's definitely not going to happen then?
Huh? No,
you're basically telling me what's going to happen in the game. So you must have some Mr. Eggs kind of guy.
No. I'm asking you, what? Of course, it could happen. Anything could happen in football. Klopp could go and play Tsimikas up front, whatever. But what I'm talking to you about is, do you think the manager that you've got is going to go and move away from his identity? You haven't answered that question.
I don't think so. But maybe, as you said, he can tweak it. He can tweak it. It might have to be a sit back, and it might have to happen. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in Ten Hag's head.
Tweak it or change it.
No. He could tweak it. He could tweak it. He might have to sit back a little bit in the positions. I don't know, because I'm not a manager to be given that. I can only give what I think. But I say it might be for a game to get a result or anything like that. That Ten Hag might change it just to play to the strengths of what we got for now until the end of the transfer window.
It's a very interesting conversation. You've seen Klopp and Pep not yield from their philosophy from day one, irrespective of when it's gone wrong. More so for Klopp, he was building something. Pep did come into a team that were only league champions a year earlier, but it still took him a year of perseverance. Then you look at Mikel Arteta. Now, I'm not comparing him to Klopp and Pep, but his first 18 months and the way Arsenal are playing now are like night and day. So there are more one way to skin a cat, and it's going to be very intriguing to see what way Ten Hag goes. I want to ask you a question, JJ, though, about Ten Hag. Looking at him as a Liverpool fan, do you think, let's just put aside the Glazers for the moment and how they run the club, do you think he's the right guy to help get Manchester United back to the very top?
Back to the very top, not sure. Back to going and, consistently getting into the Champions League and solidifying and building an identity within Man United. I think 100%. I think when you look at the pool of kind of managers that United have gone for, you look at Van Gaal, you look at, Solskjaer, you had Mourinho before that. All these types of managers that they've had the best players, the best. It hasn't worked, so they have to start from somewhere. And clearly, this is a manager, and I reiterated it to Kaz before. Is you have a manager there that's got an identity, he's got a style of play, and he doesn't move from that. And that's anywhere he's been. And that's why he's had the success. That's why he's got the rave reviews from people up in Ajax and all these other pundits. It's because of the fact that the style of play, the fact that he's got them training hard in training, and he's trying to the rules that have come out about what's going to happen in training, and if you do this and the fines and stuff, all those type of things suggest to me that, I think he is the right candidate if you look at the pool of managers that's out there. But is he going to go and take United to winning multiple league titles or challenging, getting 90 plus points? I mean, where United are at the moment, it's difficult to say. I mean, the situation they're in is a bit difficult to. I know.
And I think that's fair. Like, Kaz, from your point of view, you must have seen, like I have on the TL. We probably see more United chat than maybe JJ does. But there are some United fans already doing the stereotypical thing. Maybe this is just the manager's tactics. There are players complaining about the punishments. There's players complaining about the style of play. We're not fit. It's already been alluded to on the show. The manager's not playing to our skill set. Do you feel that if Ten Hag starts to yield on his philosophy, as mentioned, that it could diminish his power and control in that dressing room? Or is it about getting the best out of this bunch now and developing things over a period of 2 to 3 years? How would you like to see him go?
Yeah, the second option has to be that option, like as I currently see it, because of the window we're currently having. I don't know if we're going to get a Casemiro. I don't know if we're going to get a Carrasco or Pulisic on loan or anybody like that. But for this bunch of players, it doesn't mean they're yielding to it. It's just that even the players are probably having a reality check that they're rubbish. But at the same time, these players that are moaning, they can leave, bro. Like, go. I'm telling you now, any Manchester United fan will be behind this manager regardless where we finish in the league. Regardless. Because this is a form of Glazeronomics coming into the last decade at Manchester United. It's an easy deflection away from Ten Hag. This is the result of what your owners have done to the club. That is your team, and that's what you've got for poor recruitment, poor analytics, and everything else that comes alongside it. But it doesn't mean that he can't do something with this squad at the moment. And yeah, he might have to tweak it. He might have to do a little something with it just to get a result against Liverpool or whoever it might be. But I don't think he strives away too much away from the football that he wants to, because there will be a bunch that like the way he does things and and really rates him, and you get what I mean? So this is why I say there will be a select bunch. The other bunch that moan are the same players that, again, managers sacked time after time, throwing them under the bus time and time again. It's probably the exact same bunch, and I'll throw a name. I would love to throw one name in there. The one that loves to cup his ears and everything like that, the fans, when he scores a goal against Albania. And now there's always leaks about this whole stuff about the players are not happy when the reports came out that he's going to be dropped for Varane and so forth. Like, them sort of guys there, it's probably typically the English ones at that, or the British ones, whatever your fancy is. But Ten Hag will be successful at Man United at some point, one way or another. And I want to believe it.
I hear that. Moving away from Man United for a minute, Liverpool's start to the season, JJ, hasn't been great. And that's already been kind of touched on by Kaz. What do you put it down to? Is it just sort of jitters at the beginning? Is it the injuries? Or I've been talking to some Liverpool fans privately that are saying that maybe things are coming to an end with this group of players, maybe even with the manager. Where do you put the slow start down to? Or is this all just being blown out of proportion by some Liverpool supporters?
I think it's a multitude of reasons. I think you look at it, and Liverpool seem to, in my opinion, I spoke about it on my channel as well, but we started to get it. We're caught between two systems where we're we're still trying to play this pressing game, which was really, and our game was based on percentages. So winning more second balls than the opposition, playing the high line because our players are faster by a couple of percent, by a couple of players. It means that we can get back and all these types of things. And what we've tried to do now is put in a couple of players, a la a Thiago, a la a Nunes, that differ from that type of system. But it means that the team are caught in a transition where we're at a point in our period now where Liverpool should be competing year after year and competing with City. But what we've seen, especially in the early parts of this season, is we don't know whether we're pressing or we're trying to control the tempo of a game. And when we're trying to, we're not as effective at it. And we're putting in balls, but we're also trying to play this intricate football. And I feel it's that. I also feel that we've got a lot of injuries. I mean, the injuries that we've got 2 games into the season, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's almost a full squad. It's almost a full squad. It's a team that could have played easily in the Carabao Cup, FA Cup game, early round. So it's difficult. I mean, to go and say, I don't know, maybe this team is kind of coming to the end of its cycle. Maybe true, but then that's where the onus is on the club and the manager to go and refresh that. I mean, you go and look at United, Ferguson, great thing he used to do is have the 4-year rule. Every 4 years, boom, 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 refresh the squad. Got rid of the players that some fans might have looked at. Oh my God, I mean, that's one of our star players, and you bring in another player and you still manage to go and win, still manage to go and compete. And I feel like Liverpool need to go along that path to go and kind of get back, maintain that level, because we're not in a position where we're going to go and fall off and end up 8th or 9th. No, but it's about obviously winning at the end of the day, and it's about the trophies. So
it's an interesting one, and I want to throw it to you, Kaz. I mean, a lot of Liverpool fans defend FSG and almost like, no, they know what we're doing. We've won a Champions League and a Premier League, and they're doing the right thing. Do you feel like Liverpool Football Club are sort of shortchanging the fans, and almost you look at this summer and think, why haven't they gone big for a new midfielder? Why haven't they bought in another attacker? It's like 1 in, 1 out almost with Liverpool. Do you feel like the FSG is shortchanging Liverpool, and will that cost them big trophies this season?
I'm telling you now, FSG. There's a cycle of football. A team comes on top, dominates, and then goes round. Liverpool in that cycle, they're going to go back round again. FSG, you're going to see a lot of FSG out at some point. You know it. Everybody knows it. This club can't sustain it. Klopp is papering cracks like Sir Alex Ferguson did under with Man United for many years, and you will see those cracks come. When Salah leaves, you already seen it in Mane. It will happen when Fabinho gets a little bit older and goes old and whatnot. Goes Van Dijk as well. You're not going to replace them with star man quality. I do rate the recruitment though, but I can only think that can only go so far, because there's a lot of midfielders really catching on. You got your Milner, Hendo, Fabinho, Thiago, Oxlade as well. That's like 5 midfielders. I don't see any other midfielder coming in like Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones. I don't rate them personally. Like, I don't think they can really get up to that standard. But it's just like, I think the recruitment is really helping at the moment as well. But at the same time, they should have, if you really wanted to be up there, as great as Liverpool fans say and other pundits say about Liverpool, that they're this amazing team, even though they've not really won that much, if you're being honest, in the last stint. They should have probably won a lot more. But you was one player from last year away from pretty much winning all the trophies. You just needed one extra midfielder, I reckon. A decent one at that. Just one decent one. And yet again, the same problem. You haven't addressed it this season, in my opinion. So I think like this. I reckon it's going to be a cycle. And I feel like when Klopp leaves, things might get bad. Like, honestly, they might do.
To be fair, you've got a slight point. You could argue that maybe a midfielder would, change the circumstance at Liverpool. But I think it's more than that. I think if you look at the way we go and play, and as I said, you look at the stats, Liverpool play on percentages. When Liverpool's percentage starts to die, so if you look at if Salah's outputs to drop off by 1%, every game, by the end of the season it will be drop off to 38%. That 38% drop off is massive. It's massive when you look at the context of a whole season. Now, one player doesn't go and mean that we're going to go and pip City to the title or pip Real Madrid to a thing, because when you look at those games, it's fine margins, it's the percentages. It's does Van Dijk get out to Valverde and stop the cross in the Champions League final? Do we go and nick a goal against Brentford when we're going and drawing? Those are the percentages. Now, for me, it's more of a system situation, and that's what Liverpool are trying to do. Clearly, with purchasing the Thiago and replacing it with moving Genie on, getting a Nunes. This type of thing is obviously it's going to go and take time. Hence, you're seeing the kind of stuttering start. When you look at performances, Liverpool's performances aren't too different to what they were on the back end of the season. The difference is we're not finishing. Salah scores on the first day of every season. He didn't do it this time. And those are the differences. Those are the differences for me. You get into that mode where Liverpool starts scoring goals, like it clicks up front. People are going to turn their heads and be like, yeah, Liverpool formidable again. Wow, it's going to go on a scoring run. Because when you look at when you look at our creativity, when you look at the possession, everything's there. It's the goals. It's the goals. It's not the performances at United where your performances are bad. Do you get it?
Yeah, I suppose so. You got a point there, but I just don't know if Luis Diaz will also get the output that you need from another player. You can't just rely on Salah. Nunes might not have a great year. It might be transition time, but it might not work out that transition.
There's
you know
also,
what I mean?
There's also, there's also,
there might be, you might see a massive drop off maybe in the next 2 or 3 seasons if you don't buck out, because the transition can take long. You need a Nunes to get firing already. You know what I mean? A Carvalho, I think he's gonna be a wicked player, by the way. Like you have to wait for him to get good. You have to wait for him. You need some players that are good now in their primes. You know what I mean? And you know what? I don't know why you didn't go and fork out for Tchouaméni. I think he would have been a probably more solid option than getting Nunes this season. But I don't know. Maybe you could have picked someone else out. You could have got Sesco or I don't know, someone a bit more promising. I don't know.
For me, what I've just explained, we're dominating possession. Our style of play, of course, is changing. But if you look at it, we're controlling games. I guess we're having a high XG. The difference is we're not finishing. So having a Tchouaméni doesn't really affect the output of the team.
But I'm thinking of the long term.
Yeah, long term. Clearly, if you look at what Liverpool are doing, Liverpool have got the oldest team in the Premier League, and it's at all-time high on the clock, which is 30 years of age, right? If you look at the signs we've brought in, we've obviously offered Elliot a new a new contract extension. We've signed Nunes, who some people would say maybe is a season too early because he's not at the level of a Haaland. But if you look at his age, very, very young. If he goes and develops, he's going to be there for the long haul. You just mentioned Fabio Carvalho, another young player that is there. We're trying to go and reduce the age while still trying to compete. And I think that's where the issue is, because people are expecting us to be pip and pick with City. But City are so consistent that to go and have a transition the way Liverpool are trying to have it whilst keeping that consistency is going to be difficult. Hence the 2 draws at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, but that's ifs. You're mentioning ifs if they develop. That's what I'm saying. You need players now, like players that are actually good now. Like,
you say players are good now, but as you said, our recruitment is good. If at the end of the season we go and look and Nunes has got 15 goals and the same amount of goals as Mane, then the output is there. As I said, I
think you can revive your. I think this team can get revived a little bit.
But the problem is, it's very kind of closed-minded and it's very simple to go and look at and be like, it's just the players. It's not.
I think what's interesting about Liverpool is I don't think their model's wrong. I just think their model's slow. And what I mean by that is, you mentioned Fergie and how often he replenished. It was almost every year. In fact, if you read, not that a Liverpool fan would, Gary Neville's book when he retired, he speaks about how when they were probably in his eyes the best team he was a main figure in was the 99 team. He said we didn't invest enough the following 3 summers after that. We were winning the league at a canter. He said, but we probably should have won more Champions League. He said, but in his view, the club and the manager made a mistake by not going out there and making a marquee signing. It's almost like we went a little bit stale. And then a few people got a little bit old because it's a weird thing to say about a Fergie team, but rested on the laurels. But you're talking about the elite end of the spectrum where 1%, 2% dip is the difference between winning a Champions League and a league title. When you're in a top 4 race, there's so much more room for error when you're up against also runs. But I think with Liverpool, what they will do is they will get back to competing, and they're already still competing, but it's just they're not going to do it with the speed of a Man City where they'll go out and go, boom, 3 new players, 4 new players, bang. They don't work. Okay, well, we'll rebuy another 4 players this year. With Liverpool, it's like, well, we'll buy 1 big player, but then we're going to spend 20 million over here and 15 million there, and those 3 kids, we're going to bring them in. They're going to be the guys in 3 years' time that are challenging for titles. It's a little bit of a slow burner. So it's really intriguing to see where it goes, as Cass said, when some more of your stars of this team move on. In terms of this game, though, gents, so we've already kind of touched on it now. I want to get your score predictions and how the game's going to go. I'm going to go to JJ first on this. How do you see this game going, and what is the score going to be?
I think this game is going to be it's going to be a cagey game because I think there's a lot on the line for both teams. I think it's obviously a derby. You've got United that are coming off the back of 2 losses. And as Kaz said, there's potential for them to be up for it as well. And I think the fans are going to play a massive part. They're going to be, they're going to create a ruckus, especially with the situation surrounding United as well. Liverpool are going to go into it as well knowing that it's got a click and coming in there with them having to show their pride. So I do see it being very cagey. I give a 2-1 score prediction, 2-1 to Liverpool, in favour of Liverpool.
That just sounds a little bit shaky to me, man. Not confident. You say I don't sound confident, but I just don't think you sound confident in your own thing. But you know what? I'll give that to you. I'll give it to you. But I'm not trying to be here to be a realist. I'm gonna be here like I have to be an optimist here.
You have to be.
Yeah. Yeah. But I reckon we get a result. I can't like. I think it's gonna be. It could be 1-1 or 2-2. Like I reckon it will be cagey as well. I agree with you there. But I reckon we can nick something off there. And then I just want to see Liverpool fans get absolutely mad about another draw against another team that they should be beating. That is what I can't wait for. I cannot wait for it. But that's if it goes ahead. If it goes ahead. Because I'll be one of those people that walk out the stadium. If it happens, if it gets mad and they invade the pitch, I'll be one of those guys allegedly going onto that pitch.
Allegedly.
You know what I mean? Like, so on that notice, I'll be outside the stadium. If it means staying outside the stadium, I'll be there to create noise. I'll be part of the noise, regardless. But if it goes ahead and it goes protest, and everything, and I see it and I watch it on my phone or something, even if it's like that, I don't care. I don't know what's gonna happen, but if it does go ahead, I reckon we nick something easy. We need to take advantage of this. No, we need to take advantage of this. No, easy, yeah, because I just don't think there's something going. I get what you mean though. Performance of Liverpool, not easy, not easy like that. I suppose I'm setting myself up there, but you're not wrong in terms of performance and creating chances and stuff. But as the games have gone by and everything, I watch Liverpool. I don't want to talk about stats and everything, but if Palace can, if I'm a Man United player, look, Fulham nicked something, they could have won it. Palace won something, they should have won it. Like they should have won it. Zaha should have buried a hat trick if we're really talking. And second of all, that would tell me as a Man United player as well. If we don't put performance in, we're in deep. We're in deep. We need to run today.
But what you're saying is right. You guys have to put performance in. You can't go and sit back and do what Crystal Palace did. Even when Crystal Palace I reckon we'll have a bounce. The reason why Arsenal were able to do what Arsenal did against Crystal Palace, because Crystal Palace were expected to go and give a performance. You guys have to give a performance, and you're not a Crystal Palace unless you're putting yourself in that same bracket as Palace.
We're Everton right now.
Maybe I'm giving you too much respect as a United fan. I don't know. But what I'm trying to tell you is that there's an expectation, and there will be from United fans, that, yeah, you might go and play on the counter, but you can't sit back and do what Crystal Palace did and try to score one touch and then sit back. You want
to talk about United DNA? That's United DNA. Counter-attacking, attacking football. That's what we do best all the time.
Football, but not giving away 70% possession.
But I don't know, man. I feel like we can. No, bro. It's, as much as you can tell me, bro, I reckon we can nick a result. I reckon, yes, I do reckon we can nick a result. I don't care what any fan has called me delusional, anything. I reckon we can nick a result. And you don't want me to be around. Liverpool fan, you don't want me to be around. You know, facts, I'll be shameless. Like I wouldn't even put myself in a shameless bracket. But when it gets done to me by certain fans or let's say content creators, I'm coming around. I'm around. Like, and I'll be that guy to be doing that. If you want to talk logic, we can talk logic. But right now, if you want to be shameless, talk shameless. But right now, I actually do believe, and maybe it's delusional positivity. Maybe it's delusional positivity. Maybe it's delusional positivity. Maybe it's the giddiness from potentially getting taken over. But at the same time, I reckon something has to start somewhere, and it could be there.
Let me just say, I know what you're doing is how I feel inside. It's almost this: we shouldn't win. I don't think we can win. There's no way we should be doing anything. Liverpool are probably the heaviest favourites have ever been coming to Old Trafford, probably ever. I mean, we're talking. Ever. It's funny when we were having some bad runs of form under Jose and Oli. There were times where you would say this is the worst team in 5 years, a decade. We then moved to the worst team in Prem era. We're breaking records now that we had that surpassed the relegation team of the 70s. You are now looking at the worst Man United team in post-war history. You are talking about a team that since 1945 has never been this bad. There is no way United should be winning. But I know what you're feeling. It's almost, as a United fan, no matter how much you hate the Glazers, no matter how much you dislike some of the players on the football pitch, no matter how disappointed you've been with the performances, to pick up a result against your biggest, bitter rivals, the sense of elation you would feel, and almost just for one evening to be able to say, everybody that hates us, just shush for a minute. I get that feeling. However, I don't normally give predictions on these shows. I normally stay out of it, but we're getting battered. I hope we don't. I really, really do. What was your score prediction? Kaz?
1-1. It's got a draw, just some sort of draw.
Sort of draw, fair enough. As well, viewers, of course, we want your views, opinions, score predictions, and how you see this going. Make sure you're hitting and smashing like buttons as well. Really, really important to
Can I add something as well?
That you get that done. Yeah, go on, mate.
Casemiro comes into the Premier League being the best Brazilian DM, the best.
Can you cut the mustard in the Prem? We have to wait and see.
I don't want to hear it. I don't give me that.
You said the same thing about loads of players.
He's here to break up. He's ready to break up play. He's breaking Fabinho's legs. I don't care. Fred and Casemiro are the starting.
Listen, loads of your players were meant
for Brazil. Casemiro. I'm sorry.
As a neutral now. I'm speaking as a neutral. Don't get excited.
That's cute. That's cute. Very cute. JJ, that's cute. JJ, that's cute, man.
Because Kaz, you know deep down what's going to happen is if he goes and doesn't perform or doesn't cut the mustard, you're going to be looking at it with your hands in your head, doing your reaction, going, oh my God, we've got Casemiro. He wasn't what he was supposed to be on the tin. We've done it all before. The Glazers have done it again, yada, yada, yada. We've heard it.
Yeah. Whatever. As I said, Casemiro comes in as the best Brazilian DM in the league. There we go.
I want to throw this out to the viewers just on Casemiro really quickly. There's a lot being said about his age. I just want to read this out. Casemiro is younger than De Bruyne, Van Dijk, Mahrez, Gundogan, Thiago, Henderson, Koulibaly, Witsel, and Perisic. He's also the same age as Song Min-hun, Coutinho, Isco, Mane, and Eriksen. And he's only a few months older than Lingard, Lukaku, Rudiger, and Rudiger. It's funny. Like the one thing I would say, listen, you're absolutely right in terms of the age. You're absolutely right in terms of is he being paid too much money? It's not the age. You're absolutely right. Will he cut it in the Premier League? You're absolutely right about is he on too much money? But people saying that he's too old. It's very weird how 30 for someone's really old, but 30 for those other players is still fine. They've got years ahead of them. It's I do love football fans. I read it out because I do love the rivalry, and that's what it's all. That's what the 12th man's about. Listen, JJ, absolute legend. Kaz, big up yourself. Both the descriptions for these gentlemen's channels are in the description below, people. So make sure you go and check that out and give them a sub. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Thank you.